On a May morning in 2001, the tranquility of a mountainous region in the West Bank, near the Israeli settlement of Tekoa, was brutally shattered. For Koby Mandell, 13, and Yosef Ishran, 14, it was just another day of adventure, an innocent stroll through a wadi, a dry valley that snaked through the rocky landscape. They were friends, neighbors, and shared the carefree attitude typical of adolescence, exploring the caves and trails of the region. However, what should have been a simple exploration would transform into an unimaginable nightmare, an act of terror that would echo across Israel and beyond, reigniting the flames of an ancient and painful conflict. How can the innocence of two young boys be so brutally cut short in the name of an ideology, and what happens when the search for justice intertwines with the complexity of geopolitics and the pain of a divided nation? Prepare for the story of Koby Mandell and Yosef Ishran, a case that became a symbol of violence, loss, and the tireless pursuit of peace in a land scarred by centuries of conflict. Koby Mandell and Yosef Ishran were ordinary boys with dreams and aspirations. On the 8th of May 2001, they decided to take a walk in a wadi near the Tekoa settlement. It was a common activity for young people in the area, who often explored the caves and trails in search of adventure and fun. The boys left home with the promise of returning in a few hours, but time passed, and they did not appear. Worrying quickly set in among their families and the community. A search was launched, involving settlement residents and Israeli security forces. The hope was to find them lost or injured, perhaps trapped in a cave or disoriented in the arid landscape. However, the reality would be much darker and crueler than anyone could imagine. A brutal discovery and an act of terror. The following morning, the search came to a tragic end. The bodies of Koby and Yosef were discovered in a cave. The scene was horrific and shocking. The teenagers had been bound, stabbed, and beaten to death with rocks. The brutality of the two young boys' murder shocked Israel and the international community. It became clear that this was not an accident or a common disappearance, but rather an act of terrorism, an attack directed at innocent civilians amidst a long-standing political and religious conflict. News of the boys' death spread quickly, turning the family's grief into national mourning and reigniting the flame of outrage in a region already so accustomed to violence. The murder of Koby and Yosef became a symbol of the conflict's cruelty and the vulnerability of life in a divided land. The investigation into the murder of Koby Mandell and Yosef Ishran was immediately launched by Israeli authorities. The brutality of the crime and the victim's age generated a wave of indignation and a cry for justice worldwide. Police and security services worked tirelessly to identify the perpetrators and bring them to justice. However, the identity of those responsible was never formally determined. Although Israel and various sources believe unidentified Palestinian terrorists were responsible, no organization claimed responsibility for the attack, and no individual was formally charged or convicted of the crime. The lack of a clear resolution to Koby and Yosef's case became an open wound for their families and for the nation, a symbol of conflict and a call for peace. The boys' murder was one of many acts of violence that marked the Second Intifada, a period of intense violence between Israelis and Palestinians. The case became a symbol of the pain and loss caused by the conflict, and the difficulty of achieving justice in such a complex and polarized scenario. With each anniversary of the murder, Koby and Yosef's memory is revived, and the appeal for justice continues to echo, a constant reminder that violence has an incalculable human cost. The boys' families, despite the pain and the irreparable loss, continued to fight for their memory, transforming their loss into a call for peace and coexistence, seeking a way to honor their children's lives amidst so much tragedy. The case of Koby Mandell and Yosef Ishran, though without a formal resolution in terms of the culprit's conviction, is a constant reminder of the human tragedy of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The story of the two teenagers became a catalyst for raising awareness about violence and the urgent need for dialogue and peace in the region. Their families, despite the pain and irreparable loss, have worked tirelessly to promote coexistence and mutual understanding, transforming their loss into a call to action, a voice amidst the chaos. They have become advocates for peace, seeking to build bridges where there were once only walls, and showing that, even in the face of the greatest tragedies, hope can flourish, a lingering legacy. As of the present moment, June 2025, the case of Koby Mandell and Yosef Ishran remains without a formal conviction of the murderers. However, the boy's story continues to be told, serving as a powerful testament to the search for justice and peace in one of the world's most troubled regions. Koby and Yosef's disappearance and murder are a grim reminder that violence has an incalculable human cost, and that true resolution will only come with lasting peace and the overcoming of the divisions that have long afflicted the region. Koby and Yosef's legacy is a beacon of hope, a reminder that, even amidst darkness, the light of peace and understanding can, one day, prevail. The case of Koby Mandell and Yosef Ishran is a painful echo of a conflict that continues to claim innocent lives, a chilling reminder that violence does not choose age or nationality. It is a story that forces us to confront the brutality of war and the importance of the search for peace, even when the path is long and arduous. The saga of Koby and Yosef is a testament to the strength of a family who refused to give up, and how a single disappearance can expose the flaws of a system and the need for constant vigilance. Although the case does not have a formal conviction, the boy's memory and the cry for justice continue to resonate, a reminder that true peace will only come when violence ceases and understanding prevails. But what happens when a disappearance isn't an act of terror, but rather a bizarre mystery involving a serial killer and a web of crime spanning decades? In our next video, we'll explore the case of Mononya Thumpong, a story that will leave you questioning the nature of evil. Don't miss it.